Hey y'all, it's my review for the Real Housewives of Potomac, episode 5. So we left off on the last episode of Ashley just driving around aimlessly in this random neighborhood. We found out that that random neighborhood was Candiace's, and after driving around for an hour, she gets to her house and Candiace happily greets her at her doorstep. It's very jarring seeing these two get along, but the irony is, and Candiace reminds us, that Candiace was introduced to this group by Ashley, and she says they have a lot of things in common, but she says they don't have fun when Ashley chooses to be a hoe. And I'm trying to figure out what does that mean, because I'm sure she doesn't mean it literally. Maybe she means to call her the B word or whatever, because Ashley can be messy as hell. I honestly forgot the reason why they fell out in the first place, but they're getting along now, for now. So let's see how long that lasts. Candiace, this orange hoodie confessional look is just really bothering me. As well as this Proud Family hair she's rocking. Like, this is a choice. So they're both discussing the recent news leak of Ashley's separation. She told her how Michael is feeling. She said he went to Vegas, his playground, but they haven't been communicated. Ashley's also explained the terms of her separation, and Candiace asked a good question. So you can still be separated but living together with your ex-spouse? She said yes, just as long as you're not in the same bed together. I'm like, does she have 24-hour surveillance in her house to make sure that's happening? Like, how would anybody know? Now, see, in this scene, I should have known that Ashley really ain't Candiace's friend because she just complimented her on her hair. I'm glad that someone told me in the comments that that's her real hair, she's growing it out. Good for her, but do something with it. Candiace, of course, is talking about Chris and the aftermath of how she's doing since Giselle's accusation. She also says that Chris doesn't want to be around the group anymore, and I don't blame him. On this franchise, they go after the husbands hard, and it feels like every season, one husband is chosen. Michael, though, I mean, he be just volunteering himself. Okay, pause. Did y'all just hear what Candiace said? She said she is used to hearing Giselle's schemes and plotting and the shenanigans, but this time she's on the end of it. So you're saying, Candiace, that it was okay for y'all to plot on other people during the season, but when it's you, it's not fun. Gotcha. Candiace, if you know how Giselle operates, then why were you so blindsided a few episodes ago? Candiace also shares with Ashley some gossip she heard about her, saying that she went on a date recently with a hockey player, and Ashley isn't denying it. So speaking of gossip, the two are talking about how the gossip always comes to them. And Karen comes up about how she allegedly be going around town with a mysterious gentleman that's not Ray. Again, some hypocrisy by Candiace. She wouldn't like it if, the other ladies was talking about her and infidelity, so why would she do that to Karen? And Karen is usually on Candiace's side, so I'm kind of surprised she's gossiping about her to Ashley. So they continue their kiki, and we cut to Candiace's confessional just saying how happy she is that she is not with Crypt Keeper Michael and his old balls. She really hates that man. Next scene, we're with Mia. She's having lunch with her family, and she's talking about her businesses with her husband, as well as just balancing it all being a mom. I really want to enjoy Mia's solo scenes this season without wondering if she's lying or not. So then we see Mia talking about her health scare, and even her husband calls it a mystery. Now, she said that cancer is ruled out, good for her, but she still needs to get lymph nodes removed to just really find out what's going on with her. So then we find that she's going to organize a group trip for the ladies, and they're all going to Miami. She's hosting it. So now Mia's going down memory lane when she lived in Miami, and she was messing around with G, who was married at the time, but that was none of Mia's concern. They were fornicating in public, and they were aware of it. I can't believe she's like happily bragging about this. So next scene, we're with Giselle and her 3 daughters. She's bringing them to the nail salon, and I'm sure in this scene, her daughters are gonna get her together as they always do. Yep, not even a minute goes by and one of her daughters calls her nasty. I mean, she did use one of the towels that was meant for her feet on her face, so they had a point. She's talking to one of her daughters about their Sweet 16 coming up, and while that's lovely, I don't care. Fast forward. Next scene, we're with Robyn, who looks good for a change. She gets it right every now and then. And she's on her way to an appointment with an attorney. Her purpose, of course, for this appointment is to get more information on the prenup she wants to get with Juan. I'm telling you, they are not getting married. I will be in my 40s when they finally get married. I swear the only reason I don't care Robyn talks about her marriage with Juan is because we always get that flashback of a young, fine Juan. Oof. Child, the more she talks to this attorney about Juan, the more I think she is definitely not getting married. She's talking about his infidelity, how she has all this newfound money from being a housewife, the podcast, which I'm pretty surprised their podcast is doing really well, and that hat business she has, she wants to keep all that separate. She says this time around she wants to have an infidelity clause because she thinks she may need one. She calls herself a realist when it comes to that. I mean, she kind of has a point. No one is safe from being cheated on. If Beyonce was cheated on, you will be cheated on. That goes for all of us. Next scene, we're with Karen, Wendy, and Ashley at this flower picking field as the activity. Seems to be really cold outside because that's all they're complaining about. Ashley in these silver moon boots, it's distracting. Just wanted to point that out. Ashley continues to update the ladies on how she's doing with the divorce leak. Apparently, I heard that Ashley leaked it herself, allegedly. But yeah, she says she's doing fine. And she doesn't give two shits that Michael got a vasectomy. Side note, not this woman having to show them how to pick flowers, and she don't even pick it right her damn self. Oh no, Karen, this confessional look, this new one? Ooh, you gotta let the face settle before you go on camera. Ooh, you just know someone on Twitter posted this picture already. Go back and look at it. Like, it just looks like she fresh off the table. Like, she really need to let it settle before she went on camera. Like, she looks weird. So, of course, other ladies bring up how Wendy wasn't invited to Robyn's low-budget family field day event. And Wendy points out how ridiculous Robyn was for suggesting her kids could come, but she can't. We cut to her confession. She says she's had time to reflect on it, and she has some self-awareness and says, you know what? I can come off a little condescending, and maybe that's where, me and Robyn fell out. And, production shows us the receipts of Wendy being condescending, which she can be. Like, she can be condescending as well as a little uptight with people. Anyway, Wendy is hoping that her and Robyn can meet halfway to discuss their grievances as well as anyone else in the group in a safe space she's organizing. So she's sending a group text of this event and actually is suggesting she sends a separate invite to the Green-Eyed Bandits, knowing they're on bad terms. Wendy doesn't want to do this and Ashley tells her, well, you're going to have to put a little bit more effort since y'all are on bad terms. And Wendy puts her foot down. She's like, nah, I ain't doing that. They're the ones that did that to my kids. And I agree with Wendy. Sucking up to those Green-Eyed Bandits is how she got burned in the first place. Next scene, we're with Candiace and her husband, as well as her sister in her home. She's talking about how her album is doing a re-release. I kind of thought only successful albums do that, but she says she's excited that she's doing a remix of a song and she's adding Trina to it. Now, I don't know how old her sister is, but she said, who's that? Really? Really? I mean, these youngsters today, she has to be in Generation Z. We are losing all the recipes, I tell you. Candiace, I'm judging your sister harshly. She needs to be cultured immediately. She also says that Trina agreed to be in the music video for the song. Come on, budget. Or Trina must not be that expensive to book. Candiace then talks about the invite she received from Wendy about this burning session. I forgot what she called it. But she's not excited about it. And she also talks about her friendship with Ashley and how it's for now on the right track. Next scene is the day of Wendy's event. It's an hour and some change outside of Potomac. It's her and Ashley riding together. And for the other ladies, she rented a Sprinter for them. And it's Mia, Karen, Robyn, Giselle, and Candiace. As soon as Robyn gets on the Sprinter, she immediately says, I'm just here because I'm nosy. And to get the check. Remember that. It is big of Wendy, though, to have her event and actually invite Giselle and Robyn. But I think she knows, as kind of like a newer cast member, that she has to have them in a scene. Because, I'm going to be honest, like in a scene, if you have all the ladies without Wendy, there's not much difference in the scene. But then if it's all the ladies and Giselle and Robyn are missing from the scene, that does make a difference, unfortunately. And it is what it is. So they all arrive at this sad-looking vineyard that's in Bluemont, Virginia. I also want to point out that anytime the Potomac ladies go to a vineyard, we're all going to automatically think of the fight between Candiace and Monique. I'm sure Candiace gets PTSD every time she sets foot in a winery. We see the other ladies as they exit the sprinter. Yes, Giselle, we almost saw you fall on your face. They're all complaining. They're so ungrateful at Wendy's accommodations. Like, Mia just said, oh, she have us in this 1985 Sprinter. Giselle said she's been riding the Sprinter for hours, even though it's a 1-hour trip, and she hungry. And Candiace, of course, brings up the fact that they're in a winery, like I said earlier. She said when you bring wild boars to wineries. Now, Candiace, you know you were one of those wild boars too, with your hair all over your head, calling Monique a ghetto hood rat bitch. We remember. I think 5 episodes in of reviewing this season, the most tolerable, probably Karen, Ashley, maybe Wendy. That's what I would say. Those are the 3 most tolerable. So they're all seated at the table, and producer Giselle just starts already. She's like, Ashley, you've been seeing all the memes on social media? And production shows us, like, they were all very funny. I mean, I know I participated too. I wish they didn't blur out the names. I mean, let these people get their shine. Ashley says it's nice to know people support her, but it's unfortunate that it's at the expense of Michael. I mean, has she watched Potomac and how Michael has come off on the show? So Wendy is now explaining to the ladies what the burn session is and how this is gonna go. She's gonna give all the ladies a notepad, and the objective of it is the person on the receiving end can maybe take accountability or explain themselves, and hopefully they get to a better place. But we know that's not gonna happen. We cut to Giselle's confessional, and she says, knowing Wendy for 2 years, she has never taken accountability. Side note, that food does not look appetizing at all. And are they allowed to burn paper in this establishment? There's a lot of wood around them. Okay, so it starts and Wendy is first. She's in the hot seat. So maybe I got the rules wrong, but the person in the hot seat is the one that's going to be, I'm guessing, told everything by everybody what they have to say about them. This is going to be a long-ass game. I don't even think we're going to get to everybody. So far, it's positive. I mean, she's gotten into it, I think, with everybody on the show. Has she? Well, she's gotten into it with everybody except Candiace. So Ashley has positive things to say. Candiace, of course, she does. Karen does too. She said they started off rocky at first, but now they're good. So then we get to Mia on her perspective of Wendy, and it's not too positive. She says you can be very dismissive, which I agree. Like, Wendy can be dismissive to the other ladies. But Mia ends it on a positive note. We do cut to her confessional though and says, I want to be friends with her. She just makes it so hard. Could you imagine somebody saying that about you? Oh, just to be told that you're a very hard person to like. Damn. Oh my God, Mia. Her confessionals this season have been real shady. She said she's going to accept it because she needs friends. It's funny because it's true. She needs more allies besides Candiace, and she's doing a good job with Karen and Ashley at least. So now we get to Robyn and Giselle's opinions on Wendy, and they're not pleasant, of course. Robyn says they're oil and water, and she's fine with that. Giselle seconds that and says she's good on Wendy. Giselle also has to realize what she did to Wendy started that whole blow up. But the thing with Giselle is she doesn't care if she's friends with Wendy or not. So then Candiace interjects and tries to mediate between Robyn and Wendy. And Wendy, she said, well, I can only speak to what's written here. And then Giselle's like, well, ain't nobody gonna be writing no soliloquies on the paper. Like, Giselle, stay out of it. It's between Robyn and her. You said you were good on her. You don't need to speak for Robyn. So now getting to the root of what Robyn's angry about. Right now she's angry that Wendy implied that Robyn tried to fight her. It looks like she didn't appreciate Wendy telling the other ladies that she had to be restrained from walking up to Wendy to fight her. So now they're going back and forth on whether Robyn was physically restrained or not. And Wendy wants to move on, but Robyn is persisting that Wendy is lying. And Ashley's saying, why don't we just dispel that? And Wendy's like, no, that happened. And here go Robyn again, raising her voice, being very aggressive with Wendy as she's calmly saying that that's the truth. You were aggressive, point blank period. And yes, Charisse had to hold you back. That's painting me as a thug. Well, if the shoe fits Robyn, you're a thug in a cocktail dress. Shout out to Alex McCord. So now Robyn is dialing up Charisse on FaceTime to get her to corroborate her story. Charisse's on FaceTime as Robyn asks her, "Did you have to hold me back at Ashley's event when I was talking to Wendy?" Charisse says no, and that is a lie, and thank you to production for showing us the scene. So Charisse had to get up and hold Robyn from going forward into Wendy's face. So Wendy is vindicated in this scene. Also, just a few minutes ago, Charisse just took to Instagram and posted, "I was not preventing her from putting her hands on Wendy. She was not about to physically attack her. As soon as she stood up, my natural reaction was to stand up in an attempt to calm the situation. Wendy said stand in your truth, she stood. Wendy also told her to sit down, and she did that as well. Security was there. If there was a real concern, it would have interjected. I was not holding her back. People are going to interpret things the way they want. Lightly nudging someone to sit back down is way different than holding someone back. You are a fucking lie." In the scene, we clearly see your lying ass stand up and hold Robyn with your hands. No one is saying that Robyn was gonna hit Wendy, but you did have to hold her, which Wendy was saying. I'm glad though that Wendy still stuck behind what she said, because now the Green-Eyed Bandit's trying to call her a liar, and Robyn's getting louder. "I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck." And here go Robyn being super aggressive to Wendy for no reason. And do you hear that Candiace stands with y'all colorism shields? I just called the light-skinned woman aggressive. Okay? I hold everybody accountable on this show. Anybody can get it. Ashley, Karen, the Green-Eyed Bandits, Candiace, whoever. So then Robyn storms off. I'm like, where is she going? Like, the sprinter ain't going nowhere unless everybody else is on it. So she gonna get her own ride? I don't think she is, because she's too cheap for that. So much for that burn session game. We only got to one person in the hot seat. We then cut to Robyn taking her shoes off in the sprinter because she know it ain't going nowhere without the other ladies. So she's just gonna sit outside by herself. We're back inside, and now Ashley has something to say to Candiace in front of all the other ladies. What she has to tell her is that her friend that accompanied her to the spring party said that her husband Chris was trying to flirt with her. Oh my God, Ashley. Ashley, wrong road. Wrong road. What were you trying to do with that? I hate being on Candiace's side. Jeez. Y'all activate this girl, and when she go hard, y'all get mad at her. The looks on everybody's faces at the table. They're just like, oh my God, why would she open Pandora's box? Candiace makes a point. They were together in her home, one-on-one. She could have told her that there. Ashley's response is this information came to her after she visited Candiace. Candiace is like, you couldn't call me or text me. And Ashley's like, well, I know I was gonna see you, so I'd rather tell you directly to your face. In front of the cameras, in front of everybody. Oh, Ashley ain't shit still. Candiace then reminds Ashley when Michael was allegedly cheating on her, she gave her the benefit of telling her in privacy. They're going back and forth, and Ashley tells Candiace how she always calling Michael a predator. Candiace is like, is that not the truth? It's documented. Ashley's like, well, that has been disproven in the court of law. Okay, girl. Candiace said this is the third time someone has thrown an accusation at her husband. And you know Ashley couldn't wait to throw Mia's name in, saying that he was looking at her at the party. And Mia says he was. Now we know we can't trust anything coming out of Mia's mouth, but in that moment, this is now the fourth accusation on Chris. Ashley tells Candiace to remember the pendulum always swings the other way. It don't feel so good, huh? Ashley took so much delight in saying that, almost like a gotcha. And Candiace is like, there it is. There it is. And she proceeds to unleash on Ashley, calling her a lying, nasty, vindictive, evil bitch. I mean, Ashley asked for that. Ashley tells her, if you want to turn a blind eye, just say so. And then Candiace comes with a really good clapback. She says, you would know that, wouldn't you? Got her. Oh, she got me complimenting Candiace on a read. Lord, Ashley, look what you made me do. Ashley then tells her, I address Michael in whatever he does, unlike you. And then she double downs and says, well, actually, I've been hearing Chris jumps into many people's DMs besides mine. And then cue the dramatic music, the looks on everyone's faces. And yeah, the episode is to be continued. It's left on a cliffhanger. What an episode. Very messy. What's even messier is they just released a sneak peek from the next episode of them continuing the argument, and Candiace telling her in front of the entire group that Michael was involved in fellatio with another man. So here we go again, trying to embarrass Ashley through Michael. They are just recycling the mess that we've seen on prior seasons. And Ashley, you did this to yourself. You're very messy. I gotta be on Candiace's side, begrudgingly. So yeah, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode and whose side y'all on. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next messy ass episode. Bye.